I want to know what the hell is going on.
3, 2, 1.
Perfect.
Okay.
Did everyone clap that time?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you would think counting down from 3 and clapping is a simple task, but depending on what time of day and who the parties involved are.
I told you, brain is functioning at
gargantuan
47% today. So
Yes.
I
Welcome to
pre-warned.
Screen Share and Chill, a podcast about movies. My name is Kelly.
I'm Keith.
and I'm pretty sure I'm Jamie.
You're 47%, Jamie.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, at first I was like, I'm so happy I've showed you guys this Star Trek meme, so you'll start using 47% more, but now I'm like, all right, Star Trek does it enough. Now y'all are doing it all the time. Everybody stop, okay?
Are you 47% annoyed?
No, a little bit more. No, I'm it's fine. It's fine. I'm actually happy that I've infected your brain with the Star Trek seed. Maybe this will turn into you, making the Vulcan salute and dressing up at conventions.
Like,
now.
I totally do the Vulcan salute. I can do it with both hands, too.
Yeah, I love
I'm
it.
talented.
It's always funny when you can tell the people have tried, because some people can just inherently do it, and some people, like, they shock themselves when they look at their hand and they do the Vulcan salute, and it works. And some people, they try and they can't, and that's how you know you're not talking to a guitar player. Anyway, so this week we went back to Aliens because that was Keith's overarching franchise for the years of series. We just finished up the Mummy series. We did 3 out of the 17 Mummy movies. And
the rest being direct-to-video Scorpion King of the Hill.
Right. We did all the
franchise
Mummy movies. We just didn't do the spin-offs.
yes, all the mummies, yes. And maybe we got out while the getting out was good because I feel like it left with a good impression. It didn't overstay its welcome.
Let's
Right.
just
I had a
pretend
good
that's
time with
it. We watched the only mummy-related
Yep.
movies there are, and that's
Yep.
that.
Boy, is it sad that the Mummy series ended after the Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor China.
And nobody ever spoke of it again. Yep, it was sad.
He died on the way back to his home planet, or however it works.
Yeah, the Scorpion
So
King
this
did.
week, so what are we doing? What's next, Keith? What's next in the Alien series?
What do you mean, what's next? So we just watched Alien Resurrection. 5 years after
Yay.
Alien 3, they devise a way to bring, quote-unquote, Ripley back. We'll talk about that a little bit. It's more like they found a way to bring Sigourney Weaver back, which makes sense. The special effects are good again, so don't worry, everybody. We won't be hating on this movie for that reason.
There were a couple parts that were a little bit,
Yeah.
I mean,
overall,
the little rough spots,
a market
but
improvement.
yeah, nothing like the green Slimer blob
Right.
that offended all 3 of us in
Right.
part 3.
Yeah, it was definitely better than that.
This one there was a little 5-year wait, which is actually a little, maybe the shortest distance between installments to date, because I think we had 1979 and then 86 and then 92, and this one's 97. So we actually didn't let it sit on ice as long as the previous sequels did, which is interesting because it's hard
Well,
to.
it looks like Aliens to Alien 3 would be the shortest time, and Alien 3 to Resurrection. Basically, Aliens to Alien 3 was 5 years. Alien 3 to Alien Resurrection was 5 years, according to the Wikipedia.
Right, they're like this. They're like close in that regard. This one,
Sorry, did I just actually you when you were pretty accurate to begin with? My
yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that you actually did.
oh, my bad. Go ahead, continue, my friend.
This one was not quite as financially successful as Part 3. On a $70 million budget, it brought back $160 million.
Because after part 3, nobody wanted to watch anymore. They were like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
no."
Are you telling me those people only doubled their money? They only doubled their money. What the fuck is wrong with American society where man can only double his money?
How rude.
Jesus.
But and we still, we still don't get Hicks or Newt back or anything. Nothing's retconned really. We find a way through the magic science of cloning. What is it? Cloning dark magic secrets only the Sith knew. Somehow,
Yeah,
Ellen Ripley
elven rope.
returned.
Elven rope is what did it. It's all elven rope. And and we didn't really get Ripley back. And it could be argued, and this isn't even necessarily a good, bad, or ugly, but it could be argued that the original Ripley would not have fucking liked this Ripley. As a matter of fact, she would have actively tried to kill this Ripley.
I think I agree too. It's not Ripley, it's Ripley 8 technically. That's who we see in this movie. But yeah, we get a return to the Alien franchise. We got our star back after killing her off, and they'll do a little course correction after part 3. They set this one 200 years in the future from part 3, so that there's plenty of distance, so to speak.
Talk about sociological reset. But the funny thing is they do this huge sociological reset, and what's changed? Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
The technology hasn't changed. The attitude hasn't changed. Nothing has changed. Even the look, the feel, everything, the style. Everybody wears the same kind of lab coats. It's remarkable.
They've languished for 200 years and have not improved.
Think about the language shift. You're absolutely right. Think about the language shift from 2025 when we're recording this. Let's think about 1825. Somebody coming forward from 1825 in today's world and trying to communicate. Imagine them trying to order a pizza. It just wouldn't work. Okay, so.
Right, but clip of Mark Hamill doing Harrison Ford. It ain't that kind of movie, kid.
Yeah. I mean, they could have just made it 20 years, but...
Right, 200 years. We can just pretend. We can headcanon this movie, because it's...
5 million years!
It's kind of non-consequential in the franchise, because, 200 years in the future, and then nothing ever comes from it again, so...
An interesting thing about the production of this movie that I was completely shocked by, but it was written by Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Which, if we were doing this podcast 10 years ago, that would have been it was written by John Whedon.
Right.
Yay, right. That's amazing. Now it's, it was written by Joss Whedon.
Yeah, he comes with his, awful baggage, but also he's good with ensemble cast. You can see him kind of cutting his teeth on that. That first Avengers movie was kind of perfectly what it needed to be, but unfortunately dude is a scumbag, so all his work is tainted kind of by his misdoings, his misdeeds.
He reminds me of J.J. Abrams, that he's got a very specific style. Now, it's not the same as J.J. Abrams, but he's got a very specific style, and it comes through with this, and it's really tailored for these kind of movies, i.e. even the superhero type movies and stuff like that. But there's a little bit of baggage, but we won't get into that. I just thought it was worth mentioning. So
yeah, absolutely. Also, the director, it's a weird choice for an Alien movie, right? It's the guy who did Amelie and Delicatessen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of those movies, but
beautiful movies. They're almost Wes Anderson in their cuteness, but not quite the same kind of quirkiness.
Yeah. So Jean-Pierre Jeunet, I believe, is how you pronounce his name, and
sounds good to me.
What a wild pick for you to throw an Alien movie, but I mean, you can see he's got vision. There's some cool stuff that he does, but it's such a strange choice, on paper, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
Was there a story behind that? Why did they tap him at the beginning, or did somebody drop out or something?
I mean, it's not really.
Okay. So I'm reading here in the Wikipedia. Trainspotting director Danny Boyle was the producer's first choice to direct the film.
That would have been awesome.
People to, yeah. But he was not interested and went on to make A Life Less Ordinary. Peter Jackson was also approached, but declined as he could not get excited about an Alien film. Whoa, Peter Jackson, Mr. Hobbit yourself. Yeah. Wow, I'm disappointed.
Remember Alien 3. Maybe that's why.
Then they went to Bryan Singer after The Usual Suspects.
Oh, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
And then they got Jean-Pierre Jeunet, or however you say his name. And because they felt that he had, quote, a unique visual style.
And said he was surprised he was offered the job.
Me too. I think everybody in the room, except for the producers, was a little surprised at that offer. But hey, did it work? Did it not work? I guess we'll discuss it as we go.
Never know. Or we will in a few minutes.
Yes. So now it is time to talk about the good.
Winona Ryder is in this movie. I've been waiting to see her since we did Dracula back in the Scream Share.
And she's in her prime. This is probably shortly after Dracula, right? And what year was Dracula?
94.
What was it? 90? Yeah, something like that. So not too long. I mean, yeah, this is definitely in her prime. I mean, in my opinion, a woman like Winona Ryder is always in her prime. When I watch Stranger Things, I was like, there she is. There's the prototype Pixie was it Pixie Manic Dream Girl or
Yep.
Manic Pixie
Yeah.
Dream Girl? She feels like in a lot
You
of ways
almost
she was
said-
one of the prototypes.
He
of that.
almost did a Kellyism and said Mixie Panic.
Mixie Panic Dream Girl. Yeah, well,
yeah.
eh, I guess Freud was right again. So yeah, I have to bring up Winona Ryder right off the bat that she's in this movie just because I loved her, loves her lots.
She's playing the android Call, who I called your attention to. The names of androids in the series so far have been Ash, Bishop, and now Call. And who's the next android?
David.
Who wants
Edgar.
David. No,
Frederick.
David. So we get A, B, C, D. It's just a fun little thing that the directors throughout have like kept going for whatever reason, but worth note that it carries through from Ridley Scott full circle to Ridley Scott.
And there's no
keeping that-
connection in universe, so it's totally just a nod to the fans, a little thing that
Yeah,
if you're looking
yeah.
behind the curtain, you can see them waving at you kind of thing.
Right.
Mhm.
Because it wouldn't make sense if they were doing it alphabetically based on like their series of Android when this is 200 years in the future. Because you'd be at
Right,
like
exactly.
Z
Yeah.
or AA at that point.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
release another model in the last 200 years. That's kind of hard to believe. So, Jamie, give us one of your good.
I loved that the natural state that quote unquote Ridley wakes up in is angry and aggressive.
Yeah, now that would have been kind of the same no matter which
Right.
Ripley they got.
Yeah.
If they got the original or this weird hybrid one.
Yeah.
That's very accurate. I'm down with that.
Like she doesn't wake up like what's going on. No, she is ready to go. She's going to kill everybody from go. So I appreciated that.
Aside from a few moments of levity and playfulness where she's playing with her prey in this movie, that's pretty much her face for 95% of this movie is just pissed off
Yeah.
and don't get in my way.
Right.
Which is interesting, and that leads into one of my first good is that we're kind of carrying over. Like, of course, it's always been kind of in the background of the first two movies, the whole DNA splicing nature of the alien organism, but we get a little bit more of that when we get the dog-based alien from 3, and coming over to this and the cloning, they have her blood samples from when she had the creature in her from part 3, the queen thing.
Right.
So her blood, her DNA was all mixed up, and that's how they clone her, and so a little bit of her went into the alien and a little bit of the alien went into her, and it's sort of propelling that whole mixing of the DNA thing going forward in kind of a new somewhat unexpected way. I like everything to do with that except for the actual science behind it
Right.
in this movie, because the science is silly. Like you can how are you cloning her with the thing in her? Like it hurts my brain to think about, but again, it ain't that kind of movie.
It's cloneception.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
glad that you
right.
brought up. I'm glad you brought up the dog thing because I found something weird in looking at some of the interviews from production team members and stuff. They said that one difference they found with the alien in this movie versus the last movie specifically is that this one felt more dog-like to them. They're the ones that brought up that comparison, and I'm like, wait, what? Why does this one feel more dog-like than the last one? The last one was literally made from a dog.
Yeah,
Right.
And even as I watched the movie, because I think I read that clip early on in our viewing, and I was watching for it, and I'm like, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess, but the other one was actually a dog. This one is based off of humans, so it
Right.
should be more human-like. I don't know. Do you understand what the alien is, Mr. Person that's running the Alien franchise?
right. But if you notice, they they're a little bit more organic. Like there's some of their parts are a little softer. They're a little more wet. I believe that's intentional because
Because humans are weak.
they're sharing a little piece of Ripley in their creation.
Did you just say that Ripley's wet?
Dirty.
I mean, it's implied, I guess.
I loved the blending in the sense that, like, you're right that it kind of breaks your brain when you try to break down how they did the thing. But if you look at it thematically, so the first 3 movies, what we saw was the alien taking other creatures' DNA and morphing it with theirs, and then they create an offspring based off of, like, mostly their DNA and a little bit of the creature that they have, assimilated. This movie is based off of the humans now are doing the cloning. The humans are the one that inadvertently are crossing the DNA using their methods. So what we're seeing now is, what does an alien look like when it captures a human on its side? Well, that was the first 3 movies. what does an alien look like when it's cloned from the human side? We see it on this side. And we get to see a little glimpse into the mind of the alien. What does the alien think? What is it? If the alien could talk, what would it say? I don't know. Ask Ripley 8. Then she'll tell you.
And
Yeah.
the other side of that token is there's always been the company wants the creature, right? Well, if they get their hands on it, what does that look like? And while this isn't the company, because it's 200 years in the future, we do get this is pretty much probably exactly what they would have done, right? They would have had human test subjects, the eggs held over their sleeping bodies, that sort of shit. It sort of delivers on the unfulfilled promise of what does an evil corporation getting its hands on the alien look like.
That's a distinction without a difference almost, because when you break down like political science and international relations, you realize that state actors and the military and the multinational corporations, they kind of all blend in together.
Exactly.
They at least have the same goals. So like whether it's the US military or a multinational corporation, like whatever, it's kind of all the same. So yeah, we can call it the company as far as I'm concerned going out.
Sure. All right, Kelly, give us some more. You're good.
Brad Dourif. Just the fact
fuck
that
yeah.
Brad Dourif is in this movie.
Always a pleasure.
Yep, I've gotten to the point where anytime I see Brad Dourif,
He's in my bed, but for a good reason. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
Right.
I assume that'll have something to do with him playing his character so well that it kind of weirded you out a little bit. And I'm 100% down for that, because every time we see, he's so good at playing a fucking creepy, weird-ass dude. And if you've ever seen an interview with him, he's such like a regular, down-to-earth, normal dude that I just love that range and how he's so, and you're like convinced this dude is not right in the head. And if you met him in person, you'd be like, oh my God, what a sweetheart. So give me one of yours, Keith.
I like all the little sci-fi gimmicks, because you know how you have a sci-fi movie and they have gimmicky technology to show you this is a sci-fi future movie. So they have they have the breath activated biometrics, which is goofy, but it feels like something that some stupid shitty corporation would sell to the military and make
a DNA check. A DNA check.
I'm
That,
sorry.
I get it.
You have no access. You ate onions today.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody wants that smell in this room, buddy. Why don't you go take a walk and come back in a half hour?
What I absolutely loved was the dry cube of whiskey and the effect that went with it when it hits it with that laser beam.
Yeah,
and makes it
unironically.
liquid. Awesome. Yeah,
Unironically, I enjoyed that whole scene. I thought that was well done. I think it's funny that we have all these advances in technology, and the one that was impossible for them to overcome is that they're all still using CRT monitors.
Yeah, that's every
Right.
sci-fi movie ever.
Uh-huh.
Though.
You watch like RoboCop or Total Recall, and you're like, you see these big, huge monitors on the bus and in random places, and you're like, Jesus Christ, did they never think that we would? Anyway.
What about you, Jamie? Let's hear some more good from you.
I loved the line when they're talking like how they're going to kill the alien and it's no big deal. And Ripley 8 is just like, she'll breed, you'll die. Period. Flat out.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the way she delivered it. I loved the line.
The matter-of-factness.
She used some of Newt's lines
Yep.
in that. I don't know if you noticed, but she said it won't matter. That was a. It's not going to matter. I think she said specifically what Newt says.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not going to make a difference.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what she says.
And that's perfect. Good callback.
Yep.
Good use of the term. Good making us think, like that one sentence that makes you think like, oh, so there is Ripley in there somewhere. She
Right.
remembers Newt. She has feelings. She does have empathy and compassion and all that. It's just really fucking hidden right now. Is that because of the unique situation they're in, or is it because of the alien DNA? How much of either one? You know what I'm saying? It causes you, that one sentence
Or
makes
is
you.
it just because she's a clone and memories and clones don't always go
Right.
together?
Yeah, yep. It becomes a Russian doll of nested concepts, just one sentence. And I love sci-fi that does that.
I loved the cast. Huge, big cast. And I wrote behind there, I was like, big names. Is it going to be a liability or an asset? And it ended up being an asset through the whole movie. Because sometimes you get a movie full of big names like that and it just falls apart because you were relying too much on the star power. So it really is a great movie. And I love that Ripley is just creepy. She's so creepy.
Yeah. So speaking of the cast, we got Ron Perlman, who is also almost always a delight to behold. We have
Yes.
from Kelly's favorite informative. We have Top Dollar from The Crow making an appearance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Michael Winslow or Wincott.
He's
Wincott.
also Guy of Gisborne from Michael. He's also Guy of Gisborne from
Yes,
the Prince of
Prince of
Thieves.
Thieves.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
That's where I
That's where I recognize him from.
I love him in both those roles.
Yep.
He's so good at playing a kind of a creepy bad guy. Whenever I do see him in a role where he's not necessarily a bad guy, but more neutral or good, it's always throwing me off a little bit. And he's one of those guys, I want to like him. I want to like Top Dollar. He's just got a really stupid name and all the murder.
Keith, go ahead and give me more of yours because you have to have a lot more.
Oh yeah, I have a good bit. I love the whole alien escape sequence and like the thing with the button, right? Because we got to start there where Brad Dourif is like inspecting the alien and like copying its movements, and it scares him, with the jaw to the holding glass, and so he hits the cryo gas button.
Yeah.
The deterrent, and like freezes the alien, and it learns from that really quick. Like you see it look at it, and like you see this fucking thing. That's what's great about the practical effects in movies in general. Like the way it's puppeteered, it's so good because you can almost see it. There's not even eyes on this thing, but just the way that it moves, you can tell that it's like, oh, he's gonna hit the button if I do this again. Okay, I better not do that. And
even little shit like the minor clunks inside the tube when it's like thrashing around, you can hear it bumping against walls and shit. Like practical effects are just wonderful if you can afford them and if they're feasible. Obviously, they're not always. So.
But because these things always go bad, right? Monsters in captivity. The aliens sacrifice one of their own by killing it so that its acid will eat through their enclosure. And I just everything about that scene, I love that getting it out. He realizes too late. He can't get the thing unlocked. He hits the button too late. They're already gone. And then you hear cages 5, 6, 10. 12, all that shit. It's terrifying. Like it's like instantly they're instantly opening the cages.
Your attention, please. Unauthorized opening of cage 3. Unauthorized opening of cages 5, 7, 8, 10.
And then like a couple minutes later you're hearing unidentified life forms on levels 23, 21, 24. It just that the computer sort of relaying to you we have a full-blown alien infestation now
Instead of the ping from the action monitor. Now we have that. And seeming as you're bringing up that scene, I just wanted to point again at Brad Dourif that you think about that scene, and that's largely a one actor scene, maybe one and a half with the puppeteer, or two if you, I don't know how you want to count it, but basically you're seeing the face of one actual human, and that entire scene is carried by how well he conveys all these varied emotions just with, he looks like an extreme incel, the point where like, I love you, how dare you not return my affection, zap, 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 now you love me, right? Yeah, that's what love looks like when you cower in the corner.
And he does it all basically with his face, with his eyes and his facial expressions, because that's really all that you see.
And you get all these complex feelings off of so little from him in that scene. I absolutely love it. That was wonderfully done.
And then the icing on the cake there is that when the guy goes in the cell to investigate, the alien is there and hits the button on him because it knows it's a smart creature, and it's like vindictive, It's like I'm gonna hit you with this fucking shit,
Was it just me, or did that feel like a Gremlins scene?
Yeah,
almost?
yeah. That's exactly what a gremlin would do. Yeah.
And I mean that in a positive way. There are moments where gremlins do stuff where you're kind of creeped out really by what they're doing. That's just sadistic and horrible. And in this one, the alien has a playfulness to it. Why is the alien a little bit more playful? Oh, wait, did its DNA get spliced with a human? So that makes you think like, oh, was the alien more direct before, or has it always had this playful? Because it seems to me in this movie that the alien has a playful side to it, or I don't know, like a cat playing with a mouse kind of thing.
Yeah, if anything, they're more like cats than a dog, right?
A little bit. What does that say about humans, at least from this movie's point of view?
That we're more like cats than dogs. I think it depends on the human.
Yeah, some humans are a little bit more like dogs. I'd like to point out that the music was really well done. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the music in this, and I don't remember hearing any of these themes before. It felt very kind of new to my ears, so I looked up the composer. I would have anyways, but the composer was John Frizzell, I think is how you pronounce it. he's best known for his work with Mike Judge. He does all the Beavis and Butthead movies and Office Space and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, what? How did you get Alien Resurrection? Like he's also done like Dante's Peak, but mostly he does like comedies and really light-hearted kind of humors. And to go from that to Alien Resurrection, and in my opinion, I think he did very well with Alien Resurrection. So I was impressed. I looked him up a little bit, and I saw there was one interesting story about him where he in one of the movies he did, his name, the credit is it's like Gianni Fratelli. And it was an Italian movie, and he says that all the production members decided that they were going to submit their names as if they were like an Italian version of their names. And when he went to see the movie at the red carpet, he realized that whether it was a prank or people just forgot, he was the only one that did it. So all of his credits are under Frank Frizzle, except for one credit, that Italian movie, which is Franchelli, whatever, Gianni, whatever. So yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's weird to me that there's so many people that were involved in the production of this movie that were outside of the wheelhouse that we know them in. Like, that's just funny that that happened. That you have all these different people. The director,
It did seem like a really good like crossroads for a lot of people at different points in their career. And I mean, could you think this is Brad Dourif pre Lord of the Rings? So
yep.
Yeah, it's almost like that's what, because I believe the thing that I said, regardless of what you think of the movie, it's at least back to being able to have a little bit of fun while you watch it, instead of, because Alien 3 is so depressing and down and dour. Like it's not doing itself any favors by having bad special effects, but at least this one's kind of fun, and you can tell that people are passionate about this, and you know, putting their best foot forward, and it's a very good mix of different backgrounds that you wouldn't expect to be associated with an Alien movie, and that comes through, but it's also kind of fun and nice to see and different. You know, it's got a different tone to it.
Yes, for sure.
And they push the pendulum on the power vacuum or whatever to the side of the hero having extra powers. So, like, in the last one, Ripley was very weak, powerless. She was at the mercy of, like, the mini society that had been formed, the Lord of Flies version 1000 that they made. And in this one, she is a loner. She's a leader. She is super powered. She has acid blood. She's basically, she could fight Spider-Man, and I don't know who would win, kind of.
Right, yeah. Which is very different. I do have... I love the line of when Ron Perlman's character he's like, "So Ripley, I heard you came up against these things before. How'd you deal with that?" And she's just like, "I died."
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to say something like, "We ran every time.
Yeah.
We just ran." How'd that work out for you? Well, and yeah, it all kind of ends poorly.
Yeah.
I did read too that with that line that they cut his response, which was, "That's not what I was hoping to hear," or something along those lines.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that
Like,
would
he
make
had
sense.
A response like, "That's not what I wanted."
And speaking of Ron Perlman, like, he's not a good character. He's not a likable character in this movie. But, like, wow, what another flying under the radar at this point. Maybe this is like pre-Hellboy and Fallout days and such. But I think he was a great addition. He looks such the part, the big burly asshole dude.
I mean, he's like he's a cat man. That's what I've always recognized him as. This is a cat man.
And he's got all the same facial parts that we do. Like, he's got eyes and a nose and a mouth. How does he look like a cat when he's...
The way they're put together. It's got to do with the puffy upper lip, for one. Because he does have a puffy upper lip. But you bring him up, and that he is one of my goods in that the scar on his face was so believable that I had to, like, go back and look to tell myself that no, he really doesn't have a scar like that, because it was a really good scar. Yeah.
Let's hear some more of your goods, Jamie.
I really only have one more, and it's Ripley walking in on the different clones of herself. Like, her acting there was so amazing, because you get that sense that
that's great.
Ripley's agency was completely taken away from her, and that was something that was so important to her throughout the series that it just that was a stunning scene, and she did an amazing
and
job.
all the gross monsters and that's like the fusions and stuff.
Yes, that too.
That's my bread and butter.
And the kill me.
That's a classic.
Please.
That's been done over and over since this, you know, that
Right.
this is where that comes from. If you've ever seen it in South Park
Right.
or Family Guy or anything
Yep.
like that, that's what inspired
That's
it.
what I was, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is what that's from.
So gross. So gross. I should have brought this up when we were talking about Ron Perlman, but I just have to note here, Ron Perlman is a Khajiit bodybuilder. I have a bunch of minor good notes. One of them that is worth talking about is I love the one guy that they find who hasn't, you know, it hasn't hatched in him yet. And then they all start talking about like what's inside him, and he's like, "Hey, what? Hey, what's inside me?" And they keep talking over him, and he keeps saying like, "Hey, guys, what's inside me?" Listen up! What is going on in my body? Will somebody answer me?
To the point where he ends it with, "What's in fucking inside me?"
Yes, I
yes,
totally understand
100%.
his exasperation. Yep.
Yep.
Somebody take a second and just tell him what's going on. Maybe put him in handcuffs if you need to beforehand, but tell him what's going on in his body, especially if he only has like a couple hours to live. Let him know.
Right.
Where he pays off is I've never seen an alien burst out of a person's head before, but I got to see that because of how his story ends in this, where he takes the asshole guy and holds him down to chest level, and it bursts out of his chest and through the back of the guy's head.
If you're doing the fourth movie in a franchise, the things I like seeing are, obviously, I want a compelling story that's going to bring up maybe new themes or new spins on old themes. You know, I want it to be compelling intellectually and have it be visually interesting and all that stuff. But also, like, I want you to build off of the stuff that happened before, in the sense that people that have watched the first three movies, if you've had that moment where you go, I wonder what would happen if blank, and then they include it in one of the upcoming movies. I love that shit. I'm sure somebody said, I wonder what would happen if I pulled somebody close to me and I gave him a bear hug as the alien was bursting out of me. Would it come out my ass? Would it come through them? What would happen?
Why do you do this?
And
I like
this
how
movie
you
answers
went
that.
directly to first. Would it come out of my ass?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it felt the most natural, you know.
Yeah,
It's right. It's right there. It's an opening. We'll move on.
Who else has some good?
In one scene, I don't remember exactly what was happening because I'm a little distracted thinking about the alien butthole excursion.
The butt burster.
It comes out, it's immediately annoyed and like, ah!
Yeah, gross.
Now I see that happening in some like spoof movie.
Oh, well, let's not give him any ideas because I don't want to watch that on screen if it's all the same. In one scene, I don't remember exactly what was happening, but the quote, and I remember how it made me feel, and it was one character says to the other, "What's burning?" And the other one says, "Us." And the person looks back and goes,
yeah.
"Shit, you're right."
He smiles at first.
And then there's like a 3-second
Yeah,
pause,
and
and then they it's like, what was the pause for? You should immediately stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll.
It got a laugh out of me though, because he's smiling because he thinks it's like a joke or whatever, but he's like, "Shit, you're right."
Yeah, haha, it's not us. Oh wait, it is.
I could see that happening to a group of stoners or something. Like, shit, man, what's burning? I think it's us. Shit, you're right.
Well, it was Ron Perlman. He didn't seem like the brightest person in this cast, you know? So it kind of fits. I did also laugh when Winona Ryder got on the ship comm and said, "All aliens, please proceed to level 1." Just, you know, that's
Yes.
I got a chuckle out of me.
That's the end of my good.
Yeah, I don't have anything really worth it's in both my ugly and good column is the hybrid creature, which we'll talk more about because it's so disgusting and like uncomfortable to look at. So it's mostly in my
I literally just shivered thinking about
it's
it.
mostly in my ugly column, but I appreciate that, you know, the artistry of making something so hideous that it like physically affects people.
Uh-oh, Keith. Yeah, are you back? You're back now. Are you okay? Can you hear us?
You're there now.
It was recording the whole time, so I'm good. Yeah.
Wow, that was a great point. That
thought mine
was
went down,
very
so.
interesting. That's a unique way. I have nothing to add to it, of course, because it was so well spoken.
Right. Very succinct.
So, I guess that means it's time to talk about the bad.
All right, I'm going to start it off with a very weird one. But Top Dollar, like, he's unnerving in this movie because his ears are fully visible the whole time while you're looking, or they're not visible at all while you're looking at him head on. His ears disappear.
Is that what you're supposed to see?
Well, you should see some ear. It unnerves me.
Right.
It unnerves me that there's like no ears. He looks like he has 0 ears if you're looking at him face on, and I just find
They're
that
like flat
weird.
against his head.
Yes, it pings like my uncanny valley. I don't know. I don't like it. So there is a correct percentage of ear you should be able to see from looking straight on when somebody has short hair, and he does not.
Maybe
have
I've
it.
just seen too many alien movies, or I mean, not alien, but like sci-fi movies. But no ears, just like a flat side of the head. I could work with that. With that.
It doesn't trigger a uncanny valley anymore for Kelly.
Nope, it's fine. I've played Mass Effect way too many times to worry about ear forms. As long as they got a hole and they can hear. I meant as long as they have an ear hole and they can hear. That's
You're really concerned with holes today, Kelly. It's kind of odd.
Hey, Alien as a franchise seems to really evoke that thought process for me.
That's true. Honestly, that's kind of what it does, so that's fair.
It's body horror in a lot of ways.
Which is concerning in an entire another way.
One of my bads is the use of the term emotional autism. Was like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It was like somebody in the 90s trying to be progressive with their speech and not saying like the R word or something, but they were basically saying she's a little special. She's a little different. And they said she's got emotional autism, and I'm like, I don't fucking get that. Doesn't
I don't think that's
well.
right, sir.
No, I don't think that's a thing, and I don't think you should be
It still kind of pings. Still kind of pings is bad.
Yeah, it's a little ick.
Mm-hmm.
Halt, listener! You violated the law of not sharing our podcast. So please, share our podcast with your friends and loved ones, people that you think would like it, people that you think are cool, people that you want to think you are cool. It really helps us. We have no advertising budget to speak of, and word of mouth is all we have going. And it's been pretty nice so far, but we'd like a little more.
Yeah.
You need to start doing your part, listener.
Yeah, we're doing our part. You all need to like step up your game a little bit. No, not really. Just the main thing is tell your friends, but also remember to subscribe on the apps. So don't just ever look for us every week. Let your app remind you. It's there for your convenience. We're doing this for your convenience. So download our episodes and, maybe even jump over to our YouTube or one of our other social medias and subscribe there. And speaking of social media,
We have lots of different options for you. You could be on YouTube with us or on Blue Sky, Insta, Facebook, Discord. We even have a Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/screenshare. You can give us money. We like money.
Money's good. Money is objectively evil, but for
it's the abuse of money is objectively evil. Just having the money is fine. Just don't abuse people with it. Don't hit people with your stack of $100 bills and you're fine.
Or you could hit us with your stacks of $100 bills and we'll watch a movie for you. Also, why don't you review us? We'll read your review on the air. Someone was telling me that Spotify, they couldn't find a place to put text for review, only numbers for the stars. You can comment on our YouTube, comment on our Spotify episodes. We'll read those.
You can even comment on Spotify now.
Yeah, exactly.
They've added that ability. So comment anywhere, and we'll let you. We'll read it on the air.
I mean, comment anywhere that is our social media. If you just comment on somebody random social media, they're probably not going to understand what's going on, and we won't see it.
Yeah. If you went to like the Star Wars fan page and said, "I love Screen Share and Chill. Their chemistry is really fun," people might be like, "Who the fuck are you?" And they might delete your comment.
But if you drop our link there and share, now you're doing the real work.
Right. And like we said, you can rent us a movie on Ko-Fi, or you can force us to watch a movie of your choosing. We have the Years of series going on right now. Maybe you have a whole series that you would like us to watch.
We're courting the whales now, huh?
Hey, you got to go big, right? You got to ask for what you want.
They still got to pay for each individual movie, right?
Yes. Yes.
And it's always cracks me up, all the weird random movies that people suggest to me when they start watching the podcast, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to even review that. It could be really fucking funny, but either way, you can force us. You can force us to try to get through a horrible movie, or force us to watch a childhood favorite of yours that we haven't touched on yet to see what we think of it. Because chances are, if it's good, we'll agree. But if it's not, be prepared.
You could even have us watch some epic, life-changing movie that you've seen as an adult that you think every person should see. If you pay us, we'll watch it.
And we just do these ads like Keith was saying, because, word of mouth is really important to us. As a small, independent podcast, we don't have a network to lean on. We don't have a lot of ad agencies or anything like that. So we rely on you and ourselves to do all of the marketing on shoestring budgets. None of the three of us are independently wealthy. We're not even independently, moderately comfortable or anything like that.
We're independently poor.
Please help us. Yes, we're... Or we can just go, we're collectively poor.
Yeah.
That's so do us a favor, do your part, and help the podcast anyway. We appreciate you being a loyal listener. But for now, let's get back to the show. Keith, give me one of your bad.
My first one is kind of what we talked about earlier, the science of the cloning stuff and the way it was explained. There's that scene where she's like, "How did you get me?" And Brad Dourif basically says, cloning stuff, you get it. That's like the entirety of the explanation, which it really is fine. But if you sit there and try to think about it, it's like nothing makes sense and it doesn't really work, and you have to ask questions about it. So whatever. But it really, if you're not bought in and you're not along for the ride, that could be a hitching point. And essentially, that's kind of how the exposition is given.
Hey,
for it. Like,
kid,
cloning shit, you get it.
It ain't that kind of movie.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
But I caught it. I clocked it. Another thing for me is the fucking bullet bounce shit. That's a little much for my Alien movie.
Yeah.
Ricochet angling. Like, it's quote unquote massive air fingers if you could see them cool, but like, I don't need that kind of superhero cool in my Alien franchise.
If they started doing bullet time in here, I would be equally icked by it. Like, no, bullet time is for different kinds of movies and shit. Yeah.
Right.
What you, Jamie? Let's hear some more bad.
They start by cloning her, which is always a bad plan. Like, there's never a movie where cloning somebody turns out good. It doesn't.
Probably right. Yeah.
There's got to. I'm going to be on the hunt. I'm going to look for a good cloning movie, a positive cloning movie.
The sixth day with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I don't think that's going to convince Jamie. I don't think that's going to.
My note literally says, these motherfuckers just ignored the shit out of Ripley at every fucking turn.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only one that has literal experience with these things, and everything she says, you're like, whatever. We're gonna do
Isn't
what
that
we want.
They do in all of the movies, though? Like, do they ever really fucking listen to her before the end?
We are 200 years in the future. Have we not learned anything yet?
Well, you can just take a zero off that. We're 20 years in the future. There's nothing. There's nothing going on. That's
as it's a female led franchise, essentially, and that's kind of part of the core of the Alien movies is listen to the woman. I think
Yep.
Right.
But I thought that we kind of. Like, we didn't solve it, but we addressed it in the second movie in the franchise. Hicks listened to fucking Ripley, and that was a much more interesting movie for it. And then now for 3 and 4, they've just thrown that out the window. And no, let's play with the idea that nobody listens to Ripley again. And I mean, I get where that's kind of in the bad column, because it's not only bad narratively, like, oh, that sucks that these characters are doing this. We as a franchise are like, can we deal with something else? I thought we kind of solved that. That would be like having a princess in episode 7 or 8, or having what's her name, Rey in Star Wars in the updated franchise trilogy, and we're now fighting for people looking at her like a woman. Can she fight? Well, yes, women have been fighting in these movies all along. Why are we even debating this at this point?
Right.
Think of how interesting the movie could have been, because they share this DNA. That's kind of the point of the movies. They share this DNA. If they had listened to Ripley and followed her plans, and the alien was still outsmarting her plans because it knew what she was going to do because it thought like her. Yeah. Like, there's a really interesting way you could have explored that. But instead we were just like, nope, we're going to ignore everything she says and do what she will tell us doesn't work 50,000 times over.
Any more bad? Who's got some more bad?
I definitely have some more. I'll go with another one here, and then I'll turn it over to Kelly for a bit. The writhing and emerging from the cocoon, like that just didn't, I don't know, it didn't look right to me. So that it just went in my bad column because it just didn't quite fit right for
You
somehow.
mean the hybrid creature when it's birthing? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm trying to think of the
no,
scene
it would
you're
have
talking
been
about too.
It would have been right at the beginning.
Oh, when Ripley is coming out of the
Oh
Yeah.
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 It felt like interpretive dance a little.
Well, that's I was gonna say that's like hang-ups with the French director bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Like hang
Right.
on there.
If we put that scene to some industrial music, it would have a very different feel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if it would have been Quentin Tarantino, it would have just been shots of her feet emerging
Yeah.
from it.
And
It had that feel to
Yeah,
it.
like likewise, we could do that scene with some 70s funk, a la Quentin Tarantino, and it would equally be. It would have a very different. You're like, oh, are we watching a porno starring Sigourney Weaver?
Right.
But yeah, that's a choice by, you can tell clear as day by that particular director, and it's I'm not poo-pooing when I say it's. I will. Okay, well, maybe it is poo-pooing, but I will lovingly say it's artsy fartsy bullshit. Because,
And you know what? And that's the whole point in art. And
Right.
as an artist ourselves, we can admit that art is partially about taking chances. Not everything we fucking make is going to be palatable to everybody's eyes and ears, but we try it anyways because sometimes it fucking knocks everybody's socks off, and sometimes people go, "Ew, what are you doing?" And you got to try. So,
Right.
I found
Very
the
fair.
plot. The acid blood that is completely full of plot armor or lack thereof, plot acid.
you mentioned this, yeah.
Yeah, I've mentioned it in the other movies, and this is the movie where, like, I saw several moments where I'm like, okay, so they just don't have acid blood right now. And I pointed one out to y'all during the movie, and I think it was like they had an alien coming up through the hole in the it was an alien coming up through the hole in the ground, and the person underneath shot the shotgun up. And all the people in the corridor above, they just see blood and guts go everywhere, all over everything, and nobody's in pain. They should have all fucking died there or been mortally wounded standing that close to aliens or acid splash. But
I
no,
assure
it
you,
didn't.
everything just out of frame was sizzling and burning. and
Yes,
melting.
yes. That's why it's like, sure, it's possible, but it's plot armor or plot acid, as it felt like to me.
Right. Along that line, I'm going to throw it in here with it was annoying to me that they had no plan for the acid blood. Like, these things have acid.
They just forget about
and
it.
You know that you're going to be experiencing.
Well, yeah, it has been 200 years. Maybe they didn't know.
The cage you're putting it in.
Well, the writers forgot about it. No wonder the characters forgot about it, too.
Right. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to react to that. That's right. Yeah. Ow.
Oh, right. They have acid blood. And it's funny because it's a major part of Ripley 8's story that she has a little bit of acid blood. That's how she gets through a lot of the puzzles that she needs to get through. But they seem to forget it whenever an alien blows up extravagantly right next to a party member. They're fine. They're fine. It's okay.
Well, the whole way they escape is with their acid blood.
Exactly.
Like, it's very known that they have acid blood.
Right.
They just forget.
That's why I'm saying, like, the cage you're putting this thing in to experiment on it and to observe it, it doesn't account for the fact that it has acid blood. That's silly to me.
No, they're just counting on you to forget that they have acid blood so they can have their cool scene in their movie.
And you go, oh, right. I forgot about that.
Well, they need to meet me because I don't forget things.
I thought the fact that they tried to destroy all the water tanks holding the clones, the failed clones that were all apparently alive and in severe pain, they figured out the best way to destroy all these tanks of water was with flamethrowers. And that seemed like a really odd choice to me. I gotta tell you, if I was trying to destroy a fish tank, I wouldn't start by lighting a lighter next to it. That's not helping. But yeah, whatever. It was flashy. And of course, the water tanks just explode after the flamethrower hits them. And I'm like, I don't think that's... I mean, maybe if you got them hot enough, they would expand. But I mean, you would have to boil the water. It would take more than a couple seconds.
Right.
That's a lot of water. It takes a lot of heat to transfer to boil that shit.
It's the future. That's that fast boiling water.
Yeah, it's the magic rope. I forgot all about that.
Water boils faster in the future.
I got like 2 left, so Keith, give me one.
I'm out of bads. The rest of mine is uglies.
All right, Jamie, give me one.
Again, I put Wormtongue here. He can't be trusted. He absolutely could never be trusted. Don't trust the man.
Yeah, he's so good at that role.
He is. He is very good at that kind of character for sure. He's the kind of person that if you put him in the movie as like the romantic lead in like a suspense thriller, you would always think that he was guilty.
Yeah.
You could get away with that.
He's so good at whenever he does a performance. If we did the good, bad, and the ugly for Lord of the Rings, it would be similar to this. That Brad Dourif himself goes in the good column. His character always goes in the bad or ugly column because he's so good at playing a bad guy,
a creepy bad guy.
Yeah, I kind of hinted on it already, but the men in this film, they all suck. They are all so sexist. Every one of them.
Yeah, where's Tywin Lannister when we need him?
That annoyed me.
You know, we needed somebody like that, or Dylan from the last movie. We needed somebody that was a little bit more sane, and Hicks. We need somebody. There was nobody really that was a clear protagonist in this movie, which is an interesting choice because. Okay, so maybe Sigourney Weaver. Well, she's part alien, so you don't even know where her allegiances lie until the very, very end. Okay, maybe Winona Ryder. Well, she's a fucking android, and we know that they can't always be trusted because they have their own motives. And she's a little bit fried mentally, even though she's an android. She's not right in the head. Which is
kind of interesting, right? Because you put it all on the ensemble. Like, you know, you don't have one person to root for, so you root for the group to try to make it out alive or whatever. But then the group is comprised of like decent to full-on shitty people, like because they're traveling with this cloning scientist for a large portion of it, you know.
So what you're saying is much like us when we started the podcast today, and Keith is sick and Jamie's not feeling well, and I was up late working on music. We're like, you know, the three of us combined will make one full podcast host.
Right.
So all of these people, if you put them all together, they make one actual hero. There's one person I believe in if you put them all together.
Yeah, that's about it.
I thought the human boobs on the alien creature were really excessive and unnecessary.
Brother,
upsetting.
Yeah.
And like you don't need it. It felt, I don't know. Like, yeah, it was not only was it gross, but my mind rebelled against it. That is that the only way that we can visually sexualize something into a female form? There are other ways to do that.
You should be happy that you don't see too much of it, but it also has a very pink vagina.
Jesus Christ. Why? What? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Here, let me show you.
Whoever made this, you're going to show me? What? Whoever made this movie and made that prop in particular, somebody needs to check their hard drive. I'm sure they live in a country with very lax internet laws.
You know, it's body horror. That's
and they have close-ups on the slimy pink blue nipples of the alien boobs, and I'm like,
all right, well, here it comes, guys. Prepare your eyes.
Here comes the Alienussy.
That's what the whole ensemble.
Jesus, it's huge. What are you supposed to put in there? Goddamn fire extinguisher? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I you know how I always joke I'm 47% gay. I just bumped up to like 65% gay just off of this one fucking picture.
Wow. It sounds like you're refusing to embrace womanhood to me, bro.
That is not womanhood as I know it. And woman is not a body part, and that is not a human body part. Either way, I'm pointing at the screen right now. That is not, it's not a human. That's not human stuff. Like, we can't even post this to social media, though. You realize we can't share this with anybody.
Right. But, just to, I guess I'll save this for the ugly for when we're talking about it. Never mind.
I just now finally got this picture to come through. And, well, yes, I see that. That picture you sent through also has a very phallic shape.
Yeah.
I'm
like the whole picture as a
I
whole.
guess it depends on how it responds when it gets excited.
What don't you fucking understand?
Like, what is it?
Right?
If this is pre-coitus, what does it look like?
I'm not talking about just the pink part. I'm talking the whole.
Yeah. Like, what does it look like when the creature's ready to bone?
Her?
Right.
Or
Well, it's also, you know, it's that's part of the Giger aesthetic, like the face hugger, the inside of the face hugger, like the hand fucking scorpion spiders. It's just a straight up vagina, like a straight up normal looking vagina. That's like part of the design of these creatures is to, you know, it's like the blend of the violence and sexuality to cause discomfort, and it's effective because that's not comfortable to look at.
It just, I
No,
did not like. My last bad is the explosion on Earth looked really bad. It was one of the few effects that just did not.
Also, it seemed way too big for like an entire, like all of Europe exploded.
It was not realistic at all.
Yes.
It was like those images you see where like somebody says graphic design is my passion and they just got Photoshop. And
it was like the house that blew up in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. At the beginning.
Yes, nothing around it. It's just this boom, and it's different lighting right in that one area. Yeah. Yes, you could have wrote flame.gif and just stapled those letters onto Earth, and it would have had the same effect to me. What, Jamie? You got any other bad?
Nope, my bad.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
I'm hearing modem noises.
Oh boy.
No.
Oh.
We'll give it a second.
She was about to do an O'Reilly ad. I can feel it.
Oh.
Oh, Jamie, we miss you. We were having such a good conversation.
We'll get back to it. Don't you worry. The unfortunate thing, Jamie, is that if you are still there, you need to keep talking so we can tell whenever you do come back.
I am. It's very hard to talk.
Yeah.
If you guys are laughing and talking.
I'm just laughing.
Talking.
It's unfortunate.
I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then I get angry and then I flip you guys off.
Wow.
And I don't, like, my internet looks like it's fine.
Jesus.
Glad you guys are amused because I'm really fucking...
Oh my god, Jamie has the worst internet ever. I swear to God. Oh, and we have the same company, and we live like a half a mile away from each other. I don't know how this happens.
And then Kelly just gets to hear me scream about it for forever because it doesn't work anywhere, and he's the only one that gets to hear it.
Now you're coming through, and
You're
yes,
back.
editing Kelly has the fun time of listening, and when you're making valid points, and I don't know how to put them in because, we can't respond to them, so...
that is a fantastic place for you to come back. And Kelly gets to hear about it.
Yeah. We're sorry, editing Kelly.
Yeah.
So, did you have any...
reiterate the thought
Yeah.
you were giving
Did you have any other bad?
I don't even remember. Where were we at?
I was asking if you had any other bads.
Oh, I do not have any other bads. No.
So all of that for no.
No.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like it's time to talk about the ugly. My first ugly, I will kick us off, is I have written in the good column, like, oh yeah, written by Joss Whedon. He's good at ensemble cast, with a line drawing over to the ugly that says written by Joss Whedon. So I had accounted for that as soon as the credit came up on the feature. What about you guys? Let's hear some uglies.
I've only got two, and
I don't have many.
I've got two, and they're related, so I'm just gonna bang mine out real quick, pun intended.
Again, dirty.
Number one is the way they talked about my wife. I was not appreciating that. Winona Ryder, even when she's playing a character, how dare you speak about her character in that way? And two is, and then you shot her? Are you fucking... I don't want to watch Winona Ryder get shot in any movies ever again. That's... If we can avoid that, I'll be happy. Obviously, I'm tongue-in-cheek.
Kelly, great emotional pain.
What about you, Jamie?
I say this tongue-in-cheek. It was good narrative. Honestly, that's a good thing, is I didn't really have any uglies, so...
Oh, nice.
My uglies, I have the pick and choose acid blood went in the ugly for me, because at this point we should be...
Yeah, it's annoying.
Here.
Yep. And the underwater alien grin, and it was ugly in the good way. That just creeped me out. So, like, when it was underwater and it starts grinning and then swimming after them, woo, creepy. And then the newborn.
Yeah, that's I believe that's what it's called. I've referred to it a couple of times as the hybrid, but yeah, the newborn. It's fucking disgusting. It's a remarkable sculpt. It's a remarkable practical effect, but it is tough to look at, boy, as we have been talking about. And I don't know if you notice, but its features are actually based off of Sigourney Weaver. Like you can see a bit of the facial bone structure in there, and it's so upsetting.
Her high, wide cheekbones, those very prominent cheekbones. Yep.
It was supposed to look a lot more like her, and they thought that was way too unnerving and had to back it up.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of you that it wasn't in my ugly column, but it was effective as fuck. I just thought that was just, I don't know if it's a good thing, that maybe that's why I didn't make it into my list, but it was creepy as hell, and I couldn't, Like,
Yeah.
but also I felt pity for it at the end.
Well, it has
like
eyes.
when she's
The
killing
aliens
it, yeah.
notoriously don't have eyes anywhere that you can see, and like it has these little sunken, beady eyes, but there's like sad eyes. They keep making sad
The eyebrows.
Like a dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like they say how dogs find ways to manipulate humans because they figured out how to move their eyebrows in ways that like wolves and cats don't know how to do that. They don't know how to look sad or sympathetic to you, whereas dogs do. And this creature did. And it felt like
I didn't feel bad for
airlocking a dog.
I didn't feel bad for it at all. It grossed me out even more. Like I don't know how to explain that. Like it made it even more repellent to me that it had those eyes and it could mimic human. Oh yeah.
Right. You're one of the, it's like, oh, it's almost human. Kill it.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't
This
want
was
to
the
go give
movie
it a
of
hug.
Uncanny Valley for me.
I didn't want to give it a hug, but I wouldn't mind if Sigourney Weaver and the creature went off and lived on a remote island in New Zealand as long as they didn't reproduce, you know?
It's pretty gnarly the way it gets its guts like sucked out through its body through the hole.
Yes.
The hole and
that was hard to watch.
As it was happening, I was thinking, like, because I just got done reading and watching The Expanse, and they try to take the science very hardcore. And I was thinking that when this happens, that's what happens. And we've even had experiences like that happen on Earth with different weird pressure zones, like in deep water diving and stuff like that, where if a person gets stuck on the hole, it just pulls their entire body through that hole, one little tiny chunk at a time. And yeah, and they did that.
Filters.
What's that, Jamie?
A pool filter can do it.
Oh, yes. Yes. Anybody that's read a little bit of the Chuck Palahniuk or Palahniuk books?
That story, Jesus Christ.
Yep. We're just going to move right past that. What about you?
I don't have any more ugly, but I have a good note that I misplaced that I just see, so I'm just gonna note it. When the spaceship is about to blow up, there's just that one shot of like the alien in all its glory, like rearing its head and like drooling and shaking, and the steam is coming out of its mouth, and it opens its mouth and roars, and then the station blows up. Mwah, that's just a good little scene. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. If you saw it, it's just like a highlight feature of the creature. You know what I mean? It's like in its element. It's a good shot.
What about you, Jamie? Any other bad or uglies?
Nope,
uglies?
That's the end of my uglies.
So for this movie, we do the 3 categories: good, bad, and ugly. For this movie, I actually added an okay category because it felt fitting for this one. It's things that were like, they're okay. They're not good or bad, but I definitely noticed them. Number 1 is the CGI. The fact that like it was an improvement. It didn't pull away from the movie as much as previous entries, but it wasn't great. It was okay. And for most movies, I wouldn't even bring it up. But this one, I wanted to because we gave the last one so much shit about how horrible it was. This one, it was okay. You've moved up to a don't buy, basically. So good job. Good job. My second okay is the fact that there was no Ripley. I get it. They have to keep consistency in the franchise or else all stakes get lowered. But having an alien movie without Ripley, real Ripley, felt weird, and I didn't like it in that sense.
I'm glad that you note that, because that's part of what I was trying to say earlier, is that, you know, it's not Ripley. This is a new character that is from her DNA.
Yeah, and I don't like her as much. I don't like this one. Yeah, she's more powerful, but I like the personality. I'd rather have the old Ripley back. But you know, it's story. It's not a negative. It's not a positive. It's just that sucks. The last one is, I just put the note here, and as soon as I say it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Body hair.
Oh, that's in my ugly. That's the one. I have that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
like,
this.
That
it's not a bad. We don't want to body shame anybody. We don't want to
It's
but
not
it was
bad.
so
It's
noticeable. Why did they put such a tight tank top? Okay, so listener, there's one character that has such extreme body hair that it stands like a good 1.5 inches off of his body as like a little shield of hair. And again, I'm not trying to body shame. Everybody's body is beautiful and different, and that's fine. But they put him in this tight ass tank top where it looked like somebody. Oh. It looks like somebody with an afro wearing a ski mask in the wrong way, and it's just kind of poking out the holes.
It's
kind
like
of thing.
Puffing out.
I have the answer for that, because that shirt wasn't meant for him.
Really?
They were, yes. The original shot was made with him without a shirt on.
And they're like,
And
Jesus
because
Christ,
he is
man,
so
put a
hairy,
shirt on.
the test audience laughed. The test audience literally laughed like it was a joke when he and so they were like, no, we got it. So they threw a shirt on him.
Think about that. Like we that's the language of the medium. That like we understand that when we see somebody that looks that different. Like, what's funny about body hair? Nothing really. But we're conditioned to look at anything different in somebody else's body as, oh, look at like in dodgeball where we have a really big fat girl, and now, oh, what's the joke? Well, she's fat. What's the joke with this? He's hairy. He doesn't have any control over that. Like, I feel bad even bringing this up almost, but it was such a huge, like, if you weren't really paying attention to the movie, you're like, whoa,
Right.
That was more of a shock than a lot of the
Right.
deaths. Really, it was just kind of out of nowhere. And they had the Streisand effect with that tank top. I'm sorry. They said we're gonna try to cover it up with putting him in a fucking tight ass tank top. No, it just looked like they were strangling his body hair. Is what it looked like.
Yeah. I mean,
But it didn't get the laugh. Like there was an audible, like it was a comedy moment, and
Yeah,
it was not supposed to be a comedy moment, and that's why they changed
like
it.
the Wolfman just sits up out of bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I understand what you're saying about it, like flirting up against body shaming, but I mean, it's pretty wild the amount of hair that's it's notable.
Robin Williams sees a picture of this guy and goes, "Hey, buddy, maybe you should trim that up a little bit."
Right. It's like
Right.
it's egregious.
Poor guy. Sorry, buddy, that has this condition, or anybody that has a hairy body. There's nothing wrong with it. It was so shocking.
But also,
in this movie.
99.99% of people with quote unquote hairy bodies are nowhere near as hairy as this fucking man.
There's got to be like a condition or something, or maybe he just conditions his hair, and that's why it looks so luscious. I don't know, but it was.
Yeah.
So those are our good and the bad and the ugly thoughts
And
about
okay.
the Alien, and the okays for this one, for Alien Resurrection. So now we have 3 questions that we ask ourselves that are just good fun. And the first one is, if this movie had a marketing popcorn bucket, what would it look like?
That's an interesting question.
Would it just be a
one.
normal popcorn bucket, but a bunch of hair glued to the outside? Or with greasy tits and a vagina attached? I don't know which one you like better.
Nope. I'll take the newborn, like the newborn skull. Just anything but what you just described.
The newborn skull, that's much better. Let's just eat out of this human skull.
It's not, but it's better than what you described for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. What about you, Keith? Save us from this horrible
Well,
visual.
if we're actually trying to design the popcorn bucket, maybe it's like the holding cell that had the people with the face hugger eggs in it, or like maybe one of the human cargo crates.
Yeah, you do like the holding cell where it's like a solid image on each side, but on the front you put one of those, like when you move it, it's a 3D picture type thing, so it looks like there's an alien in your popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
So the little kids are afraid
That's cool.
to reach into it. Yeah, that would be fun. If we were to recast this movie, replacing every human actor with Muppets except for one, who would be the human actor remaining?
Ooh.
There's only 2 answers to this.
The obvious choice is Ripley 8, because I would love to watch her beat the shit out of Ron Perlman's Muppet in basketball.
Yeah.
Just that by itself. She's so much taller. How do you make that compelling? Because she's got to win, too. So she just beats the shit out of a Muppet in basketball. That would be fun.
I say Brad Dourif's character.
No, that's interesting, because then it'd be mostly Muppet centric, because he's not like a main cast member.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would be a compelling. Oh, I think one thing we forgot to bring up, that when Ripley threw that basketball, she really made that, didn't she?
Oh yeah. I don't know. Let me actually look that up since we're bringing that up. Because I don't know how many takes it was. But it was.
He just felt. I do know that they don't ever tell you.
Go ahead, Jamie. How many was it?
And they don't a lot. They don't ever come up with the actual number. I don't think, from what I read. It took a ton of takes. They were about to give up, and she got it on the last one.
Yeah, okay.
This is your last shot.
That's right. That's what I'm reading. Yeah.
Just the simple fact that she made it herself and they did it on camera. That's, hey, good for you. I mean, imagine
and she was
sitting
pretty
there
insistent that she could do it. So
and
she wanted it done.
She was
for
right.
real.
Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
What happened right after they cut is Ron Perlman broke character and turned directly to the camera and shouted, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Because of that decision. Yeah.
We didn't get your answer for the Muppet. Did you have an entry you'd like to throw in there, Keith?
Maybe Winona Ryder kind of works as the only
I'm down with
human
that.
for this one.
100%.
No, now I'm depressed that nobody mentioned Ron Perlman as the non-Muppet.
Yeah,
that would be
I could see
funny.
that too.
That would be funny. Anytime you get a character that's big and burly and he's angry and you put him around a bunch of Muppets, that's just a recipe for fun.
That might be my favorite answer, actually. So
yeah.
I think that's the one I'm on board with.
And our final question, who is your MVP? It can be a character, it can be an actor, it can be an abstract thought. Who is your most valuable part?
I wonder who Kelly's is.
Mine is Brad Dourif. It's fucking Brad Dourif. Oh, what a beautiful butterfly. That whole crazy spiel where he's cocooned and he's still just like enamored with the alien creature. It's so fucking creepy. I love it. I love it.
I gotta go with Sigourney Weaver again this time.
Sigourney Weaver, not Ripley 8. The actor, not the character.
Yes, because she did a great job acting as the character.
It is different. It's enough for you to clock that this isn't the same character, even though I'm looking at the same face.
Yeah, and as much as I give Sigourney Weaver credit, I just didn't like edgy Ripley as much as I liked genuine Ripley more.
Sure, you don't like the character.
Yeah. And for me, I'm trying to find a way I'm trying to talk myself out of it mentally because it seems too obvious, but Winona Ryder, she's so lovely. I
knew it.
Hey, I'm looking through rose-colored glasses, so and well, she brings really the only humanity to this entire thing. And there's also the thematic idea of now we've come 200 years in the future.
It's funny
and the
that
most
you say
human
that,
person is an android. Yes, the most human person in this entire story is the fake person, and that is so much the Pinocchio coming full circle kind of idea, and I loved it. So not only do I just love looking at Winona and hearing her talk, but her character is also very compelling. And even if she was played by somebody else, I probably still would have found that story as compelling. So. All right, so enough with our random questions and our good and the bad and the uglies and all these random thoughts. The real question is did you like Alien Resurrection, and would you give it a thumbs up?
You really want to do this? Here. Now? Yes. Okay, let's do it!
I did. I really liked it. Keith did a great job of managing expectations because I was fully prepared to be like, this movie is kind of crap, but whatever. And I enjoyed watching it. So big thumbs up for me. Kelly, your turn.
Yeah, definitely a thumbs up for me. I don't know if I'd put it on the same level as Aliens, but I think it competes with Alien as for second place. I don't know, depending on my mood and which one I saw most recently, I might put a different one in second place, but definitely improvement off Alien 3. And if this is any indication of some stuff we can expect in the future, I don't know why this died. This is a good continuation of a quality franchise, and I think they brought up some really interesting thematic points, and it was acted and performed well. The special effects were good or serviceable at worst. So yeah, definitely gets a thumbs up from me. What about you, Keith?
I mean, yeah, I thumbs up the last one. I'm thumbs up in this one.
Perfect.
It's a course correction and a good one for the franchise. That just, a lot of people we talked about were reasonably upset with the last one, even though it wasn't quote unquote like a terrible movie. It was just disappointing because everything that came before and what people were expecting. And I feel like while this maybe doesn't get quite to the heights that the series has seen before, I would agree with you. It's on par with like the competency and the what we expect to see in an enjoyable movie. And yeah, it's a good course correction for the franchise and allowed it to recover and continue onward.
And it gives us a reason to continue having Sigourney Weaver somewhere in the narrative if we'd like to. They've already established that they've done it before. They have an actor in play that's doing that right now. They could have Ripley 9 or Ripley 10, so that's nice.
Or turn her into the android. You could have her be the android at some point.
So we gave it a perfect rating. A 3 out of 3 thumbs up. Wonderful. Good job, Alien Resurrection. I'm looking forward to continue. What's the next movie in this franchise?
It's going to be Prometheus, actually. There is a 13 year wait between legitimate entries in this franchise. Between then, we got 2 Aliens versus Predator movies, but those are kind of their own thing. They've established
we're not touching them yet.
Yeah, their own timeline, their own franchise. Even I think they're considered within 20th Century or whatever, or Disney, who now owns it. So yeah, that's sort of a separate side sort of thing. So
and there's enough of them that if we did those, we do it as its own series. There's
exactly. Yeah.
3 or 4 of them, right?
Mm-hmm. It's two.
And do you watch those? Can you watch those without watching the Predator series first? Like,
I mean, technically yes, but that's what you'd have to do, right? Is you watch the Predator series and then you can watch Alien versus Predator. So.
Right. Yay. I did not bring that up. Strike that from Jamie's reference. Jamie did not say let's watch
Strike
Predator.
that from the record. Editing Kelly has been known to be very merciful about misquotes like this. He's never embarrassed us.
He's going to highlight it and put echo on it and repeat and reverb.
It'll be the last thing after the theme song ends out and fades out, and you'll hear that one more time with a buzzer, 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 buzzer.
Speaking of, Kelly, what are you picking for our next series?
Honestly,
funny.
I thought I had made up my mind, and the more I've thought about it, my genres have kind of expanded a little bit. I saw somebody talking about a movie that I hadn't seen in a long time, and it made me think, wow, that's a franchise with like 4 movies in it and another movie coming out soonish. That would be, and it's nothing that you would have thought about. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it yet. So like, I don't know. And I do have a little bit of time.
And he doesn't even tell us.
Nope, I'm not ready to divulge that information yet.
Yeah.
No, well,
I have a little bit of time. You have a day.
We'll see. Because there's also editing. Kelly needs a little breaky break, so we may try to coerce Keith into coming in and doing an intermission episode between Alien and the start of our next franchise. But I won't pressure him on the air. I won't say, Keith, come on, buddy.
Okay, good. Because Keith wouldn't respond well to that. So it's a good thing that you're choosing not to do that.
So yeah, we'll see. If we end up watching it tomorrow, then I'll have an answer for you by then. But for our listeners, that will be left in the air because realistically, I'm not doing this to cliffhang. I'm not entirely sure. I thought I had made up my mind, but I'm getting a little bit wibbly wobbly on my decision.
Wait, is it Doctor Who? Is that a hint?
No, that would be. I don't think there's a way we could do Doctor Who with our format, but
you'd have to do an entire podcast just about that.
Yeah.
The whole
that's its own
podcast would
thing.
be based.
Oh, don't give me any. No, we can't. No. But anyways, those were our thoughts, not yours. We hope you enjoyed our conversation about it. Reach out to us in any way you'd like. But for now, for Screen Share and Chill, I'm Kelly.
I'm Keith.
I'm Jamie.
Have a great rest of your week. If you're driving, pay attention to the road. Don't mess with your phone right now. Listen to the end of the podcast. Just let it end. You don't have to. Oh no! Did you see that car?
I'm going to call the police. You go ahead, call them.